Hello, my name is Amy Edelstein, and I want to welcome you to this instructive video for the Great Awakenings Radical Visions of Spiritual Love and Evolution e-course that you've been receiving. My teaching partner, Chris Parrish, and I designed this course with 12 very different and inspiring mystics and philosophers that we have worked with in our own spiritual search. And in this video, I wanted to help you engage with the lessons that you've been reading in a way that you'll get more out of it. The goal of this kind of spiritual reading is really to deepen ourselves, to fertilize our inner selves, and to refresh and enliven our own spiritual path and practice. When I first started my spiritual quest, I read quite a lot, and spiritual books would really accompany me everywhere I went. They were my doorways. They were my introductions to the sacred. They were my signposts along the path, and they held out the promise and possibility of something really worth seeking for. I went through a period in my own practice where, as I'm sure we've all experienced, life gets unbelievably busy. And those spirituality and spiritual development may be the context of our lives. Engaging with spiritual books may not be something that we find the time for. And there are usually all kinds of reasons and excuses that we don't engage with books. And for myself, one of them was really, I felt like each one was too much of a commitment, that I couldn't read cover to cover. And I'd take these great books and I'd look at them and I'd say, oh no, 450 pages. And I'd start and I'd feel like I had to consume and consume and consume in order to be respectful or diligent to the wisdom gained within. And usually the books ended up gathering dust by my bedside table rather than enlivening my own spiritual path and practice. The books behind me are a gorgeous collection of spiritual books that were accumulated as part of research that editors, myself, did when we worked on a spiritual magazine for many years. And these books are dog-eared and written up and have tags sticking out of them for all the passages that we chose for the different in-depth articles that we wrote. And now I'm able to return to them again and just enjoy them. And by enjoy, I mean work with them in a way that is really transformative and liberating, enlivening, and opens my own perspective to fixed and limited ways that I may be viewing the sacred. So the more we can learn how to skillfully engage with the wisdom of those who've come before us and with the writings that have been collected into volumes, the more possibilities we'll have to deepen our own quest and integrate our own understanding. So that's what I want to do in this short series I'm going to record for you today, and then 2 more to follow, each with 3 deceptively simple recommendations of how to engage with spiritual writing in a way that will really help deepen your own sense. So first, we want to read for quality and not for quantity. We want to learn how to give ourselves permission to enjoy a sentence, a paragraph, an excerpt, a chapter, back and back to front, and allow ourselves just to sink into the work. Oftentimes now I can read a half a paragraph or 3 pages, and that will be enough to inspire my own inquiry for that period of practice. It's powerful to be able to do. And as you can see with the lessons that Chris and I prepared, there are in each mystic, there are short excerpts taken from each of the writings. And those are enough to give you something to chew on and to work with and to allow yourself to open up to what's this excerpt trying to say? Where is the visionary coming from? What are they pointing to? And really opening up and allowing yourself to stretch your inner being so that you move from trying to acquire knowledge and clarity and insight to a posture of sitting back, of receptivity, of porousness, of openness. In my own experience, that really is how these new insights arrive. It's a sense of stretching the inner fabric of ourselves. So stretching it to allow something new. Realizing that over years of practice and discipline and inquiry, we can become calcified in our view. We can become tight. We can become less resilient. We can easily dismiss the wisdom and insight of different visionaries because there are certain conclusions that we've come to that may be valid. So you want to learn to allow yourself to sink back into yourself, to step back, to feel that you and the mystic are one, that you are with them, that you are reading their words from the outside and also from the inside, that you're trying to step into their, almost like stepping into their body so you can see through their eyes. And to be able to do that often takes time and takes opening ourselves up to a very short passage or excerpt. The second way that we really enrich our relationship with these other mystics and philosophers and visionaries is to understand the cultural climate of the times that they wrote in, to appreciate their courage and appreciate need to appreciate a little bit about what their life circumstances were and also the historical climate of the times. Take Martin Buber. Martin Buber spoke quite a lot about the individuality of conscience, how conscience itself was a universal principle that we could reach into and discover for ourselves, and that conscience would call us to action and really empower a soul level injunction to respond to injustice in the world. Now, why did he come up with that idea that conscience itself was universal, but we access it individually, not through a path or dogma or the church? Well, he was writing this during the time of the rise of Nazism in Europe. And he was calling on good Christians to have the courage to resist the state propaganda that was more and more being fed to parishioners also through the church. So he was empowering people to touch into their own faith and their own human goodness and their own religiosity and to respond. And that's why he came up with this university of conscience and the access